Guys, what is this thing above our heads? Well, this is something called breeding mop or spawning mop. And today we're gonna talk about what it is exactly, why we use them, and how to make one. As you probably already know, many of the aquarium fish like to lay eggs by scattering them or sticking them into the plants. This is what they do in nature. This is kind of an instinctive behavior for them. So you may think about breeding mops as kind of a replacement for plants, but only in the context of breeding the fish. This is why many of the fish breeders actually prefer breeding mops over the living plants, because they have a lot of advantages over them. First of all, it's very easy to remove breeding mop from your tank. You don't have to be worried about damaging them, you don't have to be worried about the root system or disturbing the substrate. Like I said, pick them up and you're done. And when you remove them, you can check. If there are some eggs on top of them, obviously you can start the next phase of the breeding project. And if the eggs are not there, you just place them back into the tank and that's it. Second advantage of breeding mops is that they don't require any light. And actually many of the fish prefer to breed when it's a little bit darker, so it's kind of a win-win scenario. And obviously on top of this, you're gonna have much less problems with algae. Next thing is that you can make breeding mop perfect for your tank. So you decide how long they will be, you decide how big or dense they might get. It's all in your hands. Plants are never the perfect size, and obviously they can grow. So you have to trim them, you have to use some fertilizers sometimes, and so on. With breeding mops, you have full control over the size of them. Next thing is that they are totally reusable. And this of course brings the cost way down. They are cheap to make anyway, and considering the fact that you can reuse them over and over, this makes them really superior over the plants. And finally, we are reaching the last argument. They are very cheap and easy to make. And how to make them? Let me show you. To create breeding mop, you need only very basic materials. You're gonna need some yarn. I would strongly suggest to use acrylic. Some flat object. It can be a book, it can be a cardboard or a notebook. It doesn't really matter what it is. What matters is the size of it. So the longer the object you select, the longer your breeding mop will be. So think about the size of your tank that you are using for breeding. Next, you're gonna need some scissors. And last, you need to make a decision what type of mop you want to make. If you want your mop to float, you need something like a cork, so something that floats very easily in the water. But sometimes people like to use sinking mops. And in this case, the easiest thing to do is just simply use some kind of a rock. Now that we have everything, let's get to work. I will be making some floating mops for my tank. Okay, next we take our notebook in this case and start wrapping the yarn around. And again, you have full control over the size of your mop. You can wrap it around 20 times to make it very small, and you can wrap it around 100 times and make it much bigger. Again, you decide. Once you are satisfied with the density of your mop, just cut the yarn. Now is the time to knot the yarn all together. So take a small piece of yarn, exactly like I'm doing, and tie the knot on the edge of the yarn on your notebook. When you're done, it should look more or less like that. Once everything is in place, you can slide the yarn from the notebook. And now we have something like this. In the next step, you should cut those yarn loops on the opposite side of the knot that we just created. And this is the result that we will get. Now take your cork and place it exactly in the middle of our construction, so basically in the place of our knot. And finally, to secure the cork, we're gonna use another piece of yarn. Of course, if you are making sinking mop, the cork will be replaced by a rock. So this is the result you're gonna get. After I'm done, I like to move the yarn a little bit to hide the cork inside, but it's really not necessary. And that's basically it. The only thing to do right now is to rinse the mop in tap water. Don't use any soap or something like this, and it's ready to go to your tank. I used it already in the past and it worked for me just fine with different types of fish. Now I'm just experimenting with cories, as some of you already know. So as soon as something exciting happens, I will let you know immediately. So just to summarize, breeding mops are a great alternative to the living plants if you want to experiment a little bit with breeding fish. They are very cheap, they are reliable, and as I showed you, they are really fast and easy to make. If you used breeding mops in the past, please let us know in the comments. That's it for today. I hope you learned something. If you did, please hit the like button because it really helps me out. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and as always, see you in the next one.